I am Ms. Trisha Pujara from BMS department of our Srimati P.N. Joshi Women's College. Welcome you all for the NIRF Sensitization Program organized by IQAC of our college. Since its approval by MHRD in 2015, NIRF rankings have become an important parameter in assessing the quality of education provided by an institution. In order to understand the process of rankings better, we have organized this sensitization program today. An idea rarely becomes an opportunity, which is possible only with the support and encouragement from the organizing authorities and the pillars of our institution. Our principal, Dr. Asha Menon ma'am, always extends her support and encourages us to organize and conduct new, innovative events and programs. Now, I would like to invite her for the opening remarks and to acquaint our guests with the legacy of our institution. Over to you, Asha ma'am.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Trisha. I would like to welcome everyone for this session on NRIF sensitization, which is organized by our IQAC cell. We are all aware NRIF ranking is based on 6 parameters: teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcomes, outreach and inclusivity, and perception about the institution. While participating in the NRIF is voluntary, we have been participating since the last 3 years, mainly to improve and give a new sense of direction, identity, and targets to ourselves. NRIF ranking is crucial for institutions. I feel it also promotes healthy challenge among different institutes to improve on their functioning and other aspects so as to attain a spot in this ranking. Based on these premises, we thought of having a sensitization webinar for our faculty. I'm happy to welcome Professor Gokaraju Krishna Pasumarthy, Dean Publicity, Gokaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology, for this session. I'm sure his expertise in this area would help us understand the nitty-gritties of NRIF better. A warm welcome to Dr. Bindu Vijay Kumar, Managing Director, Institute for Career and Skill Development, Kochi. I acknowledge her support in organizing this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all once again, and let us begin with the session. Thank you. Over to Trisha.
Thank you, Asha ma'am, for addressing us. To sensitize us on to the ranking framework methodology, we have with us an experienced resource person, Professor Gopal Krishna Pasumarthy from GRID. Without further ado, I would now request Ms. Swati Suchak to introduce our speaker for today. But before we start the session, I would like to remind everyone to post their questions either on our official group or on the Zoom chat box. Over to you, Swati ma'am.
Thank you, Trisha. I, Mrs. Swati Suchak, the Assistant Professor of Department of Bachelor of Computer Application, takes a great pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Gopal Krishna Pasumarthy, for the today's session, NIRF and sensitization session. The sir is currently Dean Publicity and looking after planning, directing and coordinating activities to create and maintain a favorable public image and awareness for Gokaraju Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology. He has been in this role since April 2015, planning, developing and implementing publicity strategies to enhance the image of GRIT. He is instrumental in researching, writing and distributing press releases to targeted media, preparation of data and submission to various private and government ranking agencies, issuing advertisements for admissions, recruitment and other promotional activities of the organization. Professor Gopal is instrumental in hiring the best talent possible for different roles in various departments by using a job benchmarking with a valid pre-employment assessment by conducting structured interviews. He is serving as a member in variety of institutional committees at GRIT, as a member of Academic Council, the member of Strategic Planning Development 2020 to 2025, member of IQSC. He is a life member of ISTE, a life member of Society of Digital Information and Wireless Communication, a life member of International Association of Engineers, a life member of ACM, Computer Science Teachers Association, and a life member of Asian Society for Computer Academicians and Professionals. Sir, we welcome you for the today's session. Over to you, sir.
So you are on mute.
Yeah. Can I share my screen with your permission, Principal Ji?
Sir, yes, sir.
Thank you. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the nice introduction. My sincere thanks to the principal of Srimati P.N. Doshi Women's Engineering College and Bindu Madam. Let us start the agenda for today. This session I have named it as Achieving Academic Excellence. Just give me a minute. Achieving Academic Excellence, a case study of National Institutional Ranking Framework. Am I audible, madam? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Excellent. It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we start understanding the deep insights of National Institutional Ranking Framework, usually the academic leaders will have a doubt in their mind. There exist accreditation bodies present in the country like NBA, NAC, etc. Then what is the fun of having a ranking agencies like NIRF, etc.? Both accreditation ranking continue to be have their own charisma because of their importances. Let us say accreditation, if you take, is a comprehensive assessment of an institution where the data of an institution will never be compared with the other institutions' data. So it's like a comprehensive assessment of the performance of an institution for a given period of time. For example, if you take National Board of Accreditation, they give accreditation for 3 years. If you take NAC, they accredit institutions for 5 years. So accreditation is a comprehensive assessment of the institution as a whole without comparing the data with any other institutions. Whereas ranking is an yearly affair. Accreditation is a comprehensive assessment for a specific interval of time, like 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, etc. Whereas ranking is an yearly affair. Year after year, the institution's performance will be assessed in comparison with other institutions, and institutions will be similarly placed. That is called ranking will be given. Another important point, accreditation gives an absolute grade, whereas ranking is relative in nature. So accreditation, let us take an example. If you take a NAC, they give B, B plus, A plus, A plus plus, etc. So it's like an absolute grade. So the information will be provided by the institution. The agencies will evaluate and grants a grade that is called as an absolute grade. Whereas a ranking is relative to other institutions similarly placed. The information provided by the institutions will be compared with the institutions of data of other institutions, and some marks, some composite score will be calculated. According to the composite score, the institutions will be similarly placed, like first rank, second rank, etc. What is the importance of ranking? Ranking is working like an annual report card to the nation, especially to the stakeholders like students, parents, R&D organizations, especially employers. So nowadays, since NIRF is a ranking framework released by Ministry of Human Resource Development, that is called Ministry of Education, it got its highest importance. It's more trustworthy than other ranking agencies. Hence, even parents, before they are joining their kids, their children into the institutions, especially in engineering colleges in state of Telangana, I'm telling you, the parents are taking NIRF ranking as one of the basis for taking admissions. So ranking works like an annual report card to the nation and to all the stakeholders, even R&D organizations, taking NIRF rank into consideration before they are going to give some money for conducting some R&D projects, consultancy projects, etc. Another important point is accreditation is having many bottlenecks, like some period. For example, if you take a National Board of Accreditation for engineering programs, at least the program must be 6 years old. Otherwise, we will not get eligibility to participate in accreditation. But whereas ranking is open to all, any institutions, even though it is voluntary, excuse me, even though it is voluntary, Any institution can participate in. That's why we say ranking is open to all. Due to these reasons, both accreditation and ranking agencies in India continue to have their own charisma. Now let us slowly get into the framework of NIRF, that is called National Institutional Ranking Framework. The NIRF was started in the year 2015 by Ministry of HRD. Earlier in the year 2015, we call it as Ministry of Human Resource Development. But in recent year, it was renamed again as Ministry of Education, MOE. When Ministry of HRD thought of ranking institutions across country, so they need a robust framework to evaluate the performance of institutions in the country, irrespective of their size, age, and nature. So the responsibility. Can others please be in mute? Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in the year 2015, when MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, thought of coming up with a robust framework for evaluating institutions' performance and ranking, the responsibility was given to a core committee headed by directors of IITs, etc., and Special Chief Secretary of Ministry of HRD, etc. The core committee was formed to create a framework. How do we assess the performance of an institution? So as that framework must be adoptable by the most of the institutions. Like it must be universal in nature, robust in nature. Hence, most of the institutions can participate and their rights cannot be deprived. So in that way, the core committee was set up by MHRD in the year 2015, 29 September. And the core committee is certainly successful in bringing up a framework to evaluate the performance of the institutions. So before we see the framework, etc., let us see how NIRF has increasing its popularity. So when it started, the first version of rankings were released in the year 2016. There were only 4 categories. The participation is 2,734. Year after year, the number of categories and the number of institutions participating have been enormously increased. In the year 2021, there were 11 categories with 6,534 institutions have taken place in the ranking exercise to check their fate against ranking. So you see, over a period of 6 years, there is an enormous growth in the number of institutions participating. When NIRF was announced, institutions are hesitant to participate to check their fate in the ranking. But slowly people understand the importance of NIRF because it was by a government agency, that is like Ministry of Education. It is clear, clean and robust ranking framework which gives a positive impact on all the stakeholders about our ranking. So institutions are now showing interest to participate. I am from an engineering college from Hyderabad called Gokaraja Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology. My institution is NAC A++ institution. We got A++ recently, and we have been ranked by NIRF right away from 2016 to 2021. Every year we were in the ranking table, and most recent year in the 2021, my college is ranked at 165th place. Earlier we are at 172. Earlier we are at 179, etc. So right, we have been consistently improving our rank year after year in NIRF in engineering category. And not to boast, I'm very happy to tell you all that I have been the nodal officer for NIRF of my institution right from 2016. I am looking after NIRF application, etc. So the various categories in NIRF. So NIRF announced ranks in varieties of categories. In the year 2021, there were 11 categories in which P.N. Doshi may fall in a category called as a college category. So institutions can participate in different institutions. This is overall, and the other all 10 are called as discipline specific categories. For example, imagine there is an engineering college offering engineering programs, can participate in engineering category. Offering management program, that is we may offer MBA program, we can participate in management category. Both put together, we can participate in overall category also. So rankings are discipline specific. Institutions can participate in individual disciplines, and all data together they can also participate in overall category. For example, there is a university offering engineering programs like BTech, MTech, etc., offering management programs like BBA, MBA, etc., offering pharmacy programs like B Pharmacy, M Pharmacy, M Pharma, etc., and offering some law programs like BL, ML, etc. So that institute, that university can check their fate in university category, engineering category, management category, pharmacy category, law category, and also in overall category. So if you want to participate in overall category, the minimum sufficient, the necessary and sufficient condition is we must offer at least 2 programs. Program means not like courses. It is like engineering, pharmacy, engineering, law, engineering and management, etc. But I think PN Doshi will fall under college category, as principal sir during in her introduction he has been telling that PN Doshi is participating in from last 3 years in NIRF, maybe in college category. Let us see how college category framework, etc. So the statistics of NIRF, you see in the college category, last year 1,802 colleges have participated to get ranked. The category with highest participation among all 11 categories is college category, only where PN Doshi falls. Now let us slowly get into NIRF methodology. Try to understand how NIRF evaluates the performance of an institution. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So the NIRF methodology is having 5 parameters. One is called as teaching learning resources. Second one is called as research and professional practice. Third one is called graduate outcomes. Fourth one is outreach and inclusivity. Fifth one is perception. Remember, there are 5 parameters on which the institutional performance will be evaluated. Another interesting factor is each parameter is consisting of 100 marks each. So each parameter caters 100 marks. The performance of an institution will be evaluated for 100 marks in each of these parameters. So 5 parameters, 100 marks for each parameter, total is 500. Okay, but depending upon the category of the institution, there is a weight, importance associated with each parameter that we call it as a weight. Let us see. That is called as a weightage. For example, in NIRF methodology, in college category, there are 5 parameters. Each parameter will be evaluated for 100 marks, and there is a weightage associated with each parameter. See, teaching learning resources, maximum marks is 100. The weightage is 40%. Means how many marks we'll get out of 100 in TLR, we'll take only 40% from it. Similarly, research and professional practice, 100 marks, weightage is only 15%. Graduate outcomes is 100 marks, weightage is 25%. Outreach and inclusivity is also for 100 marks, weightage is 10%. Perception is for 100 marks and weightage is 10%. So you can see in college category, teaching learning plays a vital role. And then next important thing is graduate outcomes. How many students have been passed? What is their placement? How many of them went for higher studies, etc. will come under graduate outcomes. Whereas research and professional practice is given less importance because there is no much scope to do research, maybe in college categories, especially in arts and science and commerce colleges. Hence, research have been given less importance than teaching, learning, and graduate outcomes. So remember these weightages 40, 15, 25, 10, 10. Each parameter is for 100 only, but there is a weightage associated with each. So how do we understand this? Let us see an example for computing compound score of an institution. For example, there is a college X, maybe PN Doshi. Teaching learning resources, maximum marks is 100, weightage is 40%. We know. Imagine a situation that we got 70 out of 100 in TLR in a given year. So since we got 70 out of 100, since weightage associated with TLR is 40%, so the weighted score will be 28. So out of 70, 40% of 70, that is 28 is taken here. Similarly, in RPC, imagine we got 60 marks out of 100. Since the weightage is 15%, 15% of 60 is 9 marks. Let us say graduate outcomes, we got 60 marks. 25% of 60 marks is 15. Imagine outreach and inclusivity, we got 90 marks out of 100. Since the weightage is only 10%, we get 9. Similarly for PR. So now these all weighted scores will be summed up, added, we'll get the compound score. Now the score will play a vital role. According to the scores only, the institutions will be arranged in the order of decreasing order of marks. The one who got highest marks will be called as a rank 1 institution. And slowly, when the marks goes down, the rank will increase. This is how scores will be computed. So this is what we have to remember. The marks obtained in each parameter will be multiplied by the corresponding weightage to get the weighted score. All those weighted scores of all 5 parameters will be added to get the final composite score, which will work for ranking. Now this composite score will be taken into consideration. Now we will see, we may get a doubt whether these weightages are common across institutions. The answer is no. See, the parameters are 5, the marks are 100. According to the given category, the weightages will vary. See, in college category, I told you the weightages are 40, 15, 25, 10, 10, where P and Doshi will fall. For example, I am from an engineering college. Our college weightages are 30, 30, 20, 10, 10. See, teaching, learning, and research have been given equal importance in engineering institutions. Whereas college category, teaching, learning have been given a lot of importance than research and professional practice. So like this, there is a change in the weightages. There is no change in other methodology. Got my point? Now let us slowly understand how these marks will be calculated. So the college category, just to have, so there are 5 parameters, 100 marks each. The weightages are 40, 15, 25, 10, 10. Remember this in mind. Now let us slowly understand each parameter. Now let us start with the teaching learning resources in detail. Teaching learning resources, total marks are 100, weightage is 40. See, teaching learning resources is the criteria. The ranking weight is 40%, 0.40. So this 100 marks of teaching learning resource, TLR is total is for 100, is further divided into 4 component level metrics. We call them as sub parameters, are called as, excuse me. Thank you. So the 100 marks for TLR are further divided into 4 component level metrics. See the component level metrics. SS stands for student strength, 20 marks. FSR, faculty student ratio, for 30 marks. FQE, faculty quality and experience, for 20 marks. FRU, financial resources and utilization, for 30 marks. You see, 20 plus 30, 50 plus 20, 70 plus 30, 100. So overall TLR is for 100. They are further divided 20 marks for student strength, 30 marks for FSR, 20 marks for FQE, 30 marks for FRU. Now let us see how these 20 marks, 30 marks, 20 marks, 30 marks will be calculated depending upon the data given by the institution from time to time. Now let us slowly go into deeper. What is SS? How do we calculate these marks? So the first subparameter is SS, that is called student strength. This gives you 20 marks. How do we get this 20 marks? See, student strength is equal to function of NT comma NE by multiplied by 20. So here, sorry. See, before we start understanding this formula SS student strength, we have to understand the formulas used by NIRF. These are called as metrics. The metrics means to calculate marks. The metrics are of 2 categories. One is called as an absolute metric. An absolute metric is a metric in which if you substitute data, we will come to know how many marks we'll get. And before we submit data to NIRF, some of the metrics are absolute in nature. We will understand how many marks we'll get. That is called absolute metrics. The second category is called relative metrics. So we need to submit data to NIRF. The data submitted by the institution will be compared with the other institutions' data. NIRF will come to a conclusion about a function. The function will be used to calculate the data. See here, SS stands for student strength. F of a function of total sanctioned approved intake and total number of students enrolled multiplied by 20. For example, how many seats available? How many seats have been filled? NIRF asks these both information. Once, excuse me, once the data is provided, the data provided by all the institutions will be compared. For example, you see, there are 1,000 seats at P. N. Doshi. All 1,000 what? Excuse me, I'm not well actually. Sorry for the disturbance. See, there are 1,000 seats at our institution and all 1,000 seats got filled. So total number of seats available divided by total number of seats filled. That is called as enrollment ratio. How many seats available? How many seats filled? For example, as long as we have 100% enrollment ratio, we'll get 20 out of 20. For example, there are 1,000 seats available, but only 800 seats have been filled this year. So we will claim 800 seats have been filled. So this 80% enrollment ratio, and what NIRF do? NIRF collects enrollment ratio of all institutions, and they will find a suitable metric that is called a function, and that function will be multiplied by 20. To understand this in a better way, let us try to have an overview of this function in a numerical demo. For example, there is an institute X whose enrollment ratio is 100%, means NT seats available 1000, NE seats filled 1000, 1000 out of 1000, all seats got filled. So enrollment ratio is 100%. So no doubt we'll get 20 out of 20. For example, there is an institute Y whose ratio is less than 100%, maybe 80 or 90. How many marks they will get? We don't know at the time of application. That's why it is called as a relative metric. Relative metrics uses functions. A function of something means a comparison. For example, the enrollment ratio of all institutions will be compared, and a median or average or some function may be taken. They will be multiplied by 20. So how many marks we'll get? If ratio is less than 20, we'll certainly get marks less than 20 based on this function f of n. That's why we call it as a relative metric. Hope you understand. So NT stands for total sanctioned approved intake. NE stands for total number of students enrolled. Shall we take all questions at the last, please? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The chest X-ray.
Hello?
Like chest.
Hello? Shall I proceed with my presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, somebody is talking in between. That's why I stopped. It's okay. See, the second one is called faculty student ratio with emphasis on permanent faculty. That is called FSR. This is for 30 marks. See, this is the best example of absolute metric. See, the formula FSR is equal to 30 multiplied by 20 multiplied by F by N. What is F? What is F by N? Faculty student ratio. How many faculty are available in the college divided by the total number of students. For example, there are 100 faculty available in the college, and total number of students are 1000. That is called 10 by 100. 100 by 1000. We have to substitute this faculty student ratio here, and this faculty student ratio is multiplied by 20, and this fraction will be multiplied by 30. For example, at P. N. Doshi, the faculty student ratio is 1:20. Imagine the faculty student ratio is 1:20. So F by N becomes 1 by 20. When 1 by 20 multiplied by 20, we'll get 1. That 1 multiplied by 30, we'll get 30 out of 30. So what is the important takeaway here? As long as arts and science and commerce colleges manages to have 1:20 faculty student ratio, they will score full marks. That is called 30 out of 30. So see, this is an absolute metric, because NIRF need not decide how many marks we'll get in the FSR. We can understand how many marks we'll get, because we know how many faculty are there. We know how many students are there. That fraction you substitute here and evaluate this fraction, FSR. So 1:20 is the desired ratio. And another important point is, if any institution is having faculty student ratio inferior than 1:70, then this FSR will be set to 0. So an institution having FSR, that is called faculty student ratio, means for every 70 students, if there is only one faculty, they will score nothing here. Try to understand this formula with the help of a numerical demonstration. There is an institute Y offering 1 by 20 FSR, that is called faculty student ratio. See, substitute this 1 by 20 in this formula. F by N is 1 by 20 now. See, this red color is substitution. 30 multiplied by 20 multiplied by 1 by 20. That's what 30 marks. For example, there is another college Z whose values are, whose FSR is 1 by 30. Imagine, substitute 1 by 30, they will end up with 20 marks. For example, there is an institution N with FSR 1 by 70, means one faculty for 70 students. They will end up with 0. See, as per 2021 statistics of faculty student ratio, there is only 2 colleges with 1:10. 370 colleges between 11 to 20, 548 colleges between 21 to 30, 123 colleges between 31 to 40, 32 colleges between 41 to 50. This is as per 2021 statistics of FSR. I hope PN Doshi is managing with the 1:20 faculty student ratio. If so, certainly will score full marks in this criteria. The third subparameter in TLR is, combined metric for faculty and experience. That is called FQE. That is called faculty quality experience. For 20 marks is further divided into 10 marks for faculty quality and 10 marks for faculty experience. Now let us first see how faculty quality is understand. This is also an absolute metric. See, FQ is equal to 10 multiplied by FRA by 75. This is the formula. FQ is equal to 10 multiplied by FRA by 75. What is FRA? FRA is the percentage of faculty with PhD. Means here we have to substitute the percentage of faculty with PhD. For example, if you have 75% faculty with PhD, 75 by 75 is 1. 1 multiplied by 10 is called 10. So if you want to score 10 out of 10 in FQ category, if the number of PhDs in the faculty amongst the faculty must be 75. Imagine there is a college Y with 25% PhDs. Substitute 25, they will end up only with 3.3 out of 10 marks. Hope this method is metric is understand. The next one is called faculty experience. See, faculty quality and experience is divided into faculty quality plus faculty experience. Faculty quality, if you want to score full marks, 75% PhDs or more will give you full marks. If the number of PhDs are less than 75, on pro rata, we will lose marks. That is the takeaway. In faculty experience, that is also for 10 marks. In faculty experience, all faculty available in the college are divided into 3 groups, F1, F2, F3. All faculty will be kept into 3 buckets. The first bucket is called F1, second bucket is called F2, the last bucket is called F3. What is bucket F1? Is people with less than 8 years. So all faculty with less than 8 years experience will be kept into first bucket. Faculty with 8 to 15 years are kept into second bucket. Faculty with more than 15 years are kept into the last bucket. Okay, F1, F2, F3. That is called the fraction of faculty with less than 8 years, means youngsters. Fraction of faculty with 8 to 15, moderately experienced. Fraction with high experience, that is called 15 years. See the formula, 3 multiplied by minimum of 3 F1 comma 1. For example, F1. What is F1? The fraction of faculty having less than 8 years experience, they will be substituted here. People with 8 to 15 will be substituted in F2. People with more than 15 years will be substituted in EF3. See, let us try to understand this formula, this big formula with the help of an example. Imagine in a college, there are 1/3 youngsters, 1/3 moderately experienced, 1/4 seniors. That is called highly experienced. Because you know, the total of fractions must be 1 because every faculty must fall in any one of these buckets. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/4 are F1, F2, F3 buckets. Substitute F1, 1/3, 1/4, 1/3, 1/3, 1/4 in this formula, we will end up with 9 marks. For example, there is an institute Y, highly experienced institution, maybe an aided college. There were no youngsters at all. Less than 8 years experience, no one. Half of them are moderately experienced, half of them are highly experienced. What we think usually, so if all faculty are moderately or highly experienced, will give you full marks. No, according to the formula, see, we will end up with only 7 marks. So institutes are expected to have faculty of all categories, youngsters, moderately experienced, and highly experienced. If the distribution is normal across the 3 buckets, we will score highest marks. That is the takeaway. Faculty experience and faculty quality, 10 each, both put together is 20 marks. According to the 2021 statistics of NIRF, according to faculty quality and experience, 39% are only with PhDs, 61% are without PhDs. Experience also, 37% youngsters, 32% moderately experienced, 30% is more than 15 years. See, for college category, the desired percentage of faculty with PhDs is 75. But don't worry, you see the national average, is only 39. For example, colleges like P.N. Doshi, if they have only 50% PhDs, need not worry, because we are beyond, way beyond the national average, that is 39%. But 75% is the highest. The last subparameter, the component level metric from teaching learning resources is financial resources and utilization, FRU, called for financial resources and utilization. This is for 30 marks. Is further divided into 7.5 marks for capital expenditure, 22.5 marks for operational expense. See here again, I am using function of something. A function of something means NIRF decides what is this function. So the total expenditure of the institutions will be compared with other institutions' expenditure, and they will arrive a function. That function will be multiplied. Okay, so capital, what comes under capital expenditure? So NIRF asks information about capital expenditure. How much money is spent in library, new for establishment of new equipments, establishment of workshops, and other expenditure. What comes in operational expenditure? Faculty, non-teaching, teaching salaries, maintenance of academic infrastructure, seminars, workshops, etc. comes in operational. So out of this 30 marks, operational expenditure have highest value, that is 22%, 22.5%, 22.5 marks, sorry. Capital expenditure is having only 7.5 marks. So NIRF collects information about the expenditure of the institution under various heads. The total expenditure divided by total number of students. That will give you expenditure per student, per student expenditure. See, total expenditure divided by total number of students will give you expenditure per student. So each institute have an expenditure for student. The expenditure for student will be compared with all other institutions. Then a function will be arrived. The function will be multiplied. So this is again, what is say, relative metric. See, according to 2021 statistics in colleges category, the median financial resource utilization in 2019, 29,252 rupees per student is expenditure. In the year 2020, it has gone to 29,647. In the year 2021, it has gone to 29,611. See, this 29,611 is per student expenditure in a given year. So if at P.N. Doshi, if the per student expenditure is more than 29,611, certainly we'll take advantage. So this is not average. Remember, it is a median. How do we calculate median? Median is nothing but, for example, there are 1,000 institutions participating. All 1,000 institutions per student expenditure will be arranged in order of decreasing order. The value which falls in the center is called as a median. Average means per capital expenditure of all institutions divided by 1,000. This is not average, this is median, which falls in the middle. So median expenditure is called 29,611 in colleges category in the year 2021. The next, excuse me. The next parameter is research and professional practice. This is also for 100 marks. For colleges category, its importance is only 15%. Weightage is 15%. The 100 marks RPC is further divided into 70 marks for publications, 30 marks for quality of publications. Excuse me. Excuse me. So the 100 marks are further divided into 70 marks for publications, 30 marks for quality of publication. Let us see how these the 70, 30 are calculated. More interesting factor here is both the parameters are relative in nature. They are not absolute. See, the 70 marks for publications is like this. PU is equal to the 70 marks, 70 multiplied by F of P by FRQ. What is P? How many publications made in the name of the institution? In institution affiliation, how many papers have been published? That P is called as weighted number of publications. What is FRQ? FRQ is faculty record. Sorry, this is not 1:50, this is 1:20. FRQ stands for faculty required as per 1:15. We can simply understand like the total number of publications divided by the total number of faculty required. We call it as papers per head. So how many papers have been published by teachers divided by the total number of papers, total number of faculty. For example, in an institution, there are institution managed to publish, for example, 900 publications in a given year, let us say, Otherwise, 300 publications in a given year. And there are 100 faculty in the college. So 300 by 100, that is called 3. And each faculty is producing 3 papers in a given year. So this number will be compared with other institutions' data. This function will be evaluated and will be multiplied by 70. So how to score more marks? The simple thing is publish as many papers as possible. The next one is called quality of publications. That is called QP. This is for 30 marks. Say this is called as PU, number of publications. This is for quality of publications. 30 multiplied by F of CC by P. What is CC? CC means the total citation count over previous 3 years. Last 3 years, how many citations have been attracted by all publications? For example, last 3 years, if there are 300 publications by a college, and all 300 publications got, for example, something around 900 citations. So the 900 divided by the 300, that is called sorry, citations per paper. So CC stands for total citation count. Hope you all understand. Every paper attracts some citations. Last 3 years, what is the total citation count of all papers together divided by total number of publications? That is called as citations per paper. So this is also for 30 marks. So if you want to score more marks in this formula, that CC to increase. CC stands for citation count. This is how 30 marks for quality of publications will be calculated. As per NIR of 2021 statistics, 1,109 institutions participated in college category. Total number of publications by all institutions put together is 15,713. Out of which the institutions which are ranked from 1 to 100 managed to push 6,566. All other 900 institutions, see, out of 1,100 institutions, 100 institutions managed to push 6,500. All other 1,000 institutions could be able to manage only 9,000. Means the institutions which were ranked between 1 to 100 managed to push 41.79 publications. Other institutions could be able to push only 58%. If you take average, the average number of publications per institute as per 2021 statistics in college category is only 14.17. If you take in engineering category, the average is 300. In college category is 14.17. As long as institutes like P.N. Doshi, etc. manage to publish at least 15 or more, will be in the race to get some marks. Otherwise, we'll not take any advantage. The next parameter is gradient outcomes. We know gradient outcomes is also for 100 marks. The weightage is only 25%. The 100 marks gradient outcomes are further divided into 40 marks for graduate placement and higher studies, 40 marks for graduate university examinations, 20 marks for graduate median salary. So 40 plus 40 plus 20 is 100. Now let us see each one of them in detail. GPH stands for graduate placements and higher studies. This is for 40 marks. See, 40 multiplied by NP by 100 plus NHS by 100. What is NP? NP is percentage of students placed. NHS is percentage of students selected for higher studies. So in NP and NHS, we have to substitute the percentages. How much percentage of students have been placed? What is the percentage of students have been went for higher studies? We have to substitute. It is an absolute formula. For example, in a college, 50% of students have been placed and 30% went for higher studies. So 40 by 100, 0.4, 30 by 100, 0.3, 0.4 plus 0.3, 0.7, multiplied by 40 is 28. So if there are 40% placements, 30% higher studies institution, they will end up with only 28 marks. Now let us see some situation. There is a college institute X managed to have 80% placements, 20% higher studies. Means every student graduated is either placed or went for higher studies, because the sum of the percentage, you see 80% plus 20% together is 100%. Means every student is either placed or went for higher studies. They will end up full marks. For example, there is an institute Y have only 70% placement, 10% higher studies. Means how much percentage? 80%. Means there are 20% successful graduates. Means they finished their graduation or post-graduation, but they are neither placed nor went for higher studies. Then we'll end up with only 32 marks. So here the takeaway is, if every student graduated is either placed or went for higher studies will get the full marks. The next one is metrics for university examination. GUE stands for graduate university examination is for 40 marks for college category. GUE is equal to 40 multiplied by minimum of NG by 80, 1. What is NG? Percentage of students graduated. See, in the final year examination, in a given academic year, how many students are going? For example, there are 1,000 final year students. If there are 800 of them are passed, so 800 by 1,000 is 80%. So NG becomes 80. If you substitute 80 here, 80 by 80 is 1. 1, minimum is 1. 1 multiplied by 40 is 40. So to score 40 out of 40 here, 80% is the desired pass percentage. For example, there is Institute X with pass percentage 80 or superior, they will get full marks. If there is Institute Y with pass percentage of only 40%, they will end up with only 20 marks. So the desired pass percentage is 80%. Any pass percentage superior than 80 will get full marks. If the pass percentage is less than 80, we will lose some marks. The next one is called graduate median salary, 20 marks. This is again function of median salaries. Unfortunately, there is no statistics from India rankings 2020-21 about median salary of college category. Hence, I am using an engineering colleges statistics. Okay. The median salary offered for a student in an institution will be compared with all other institutions, and that function will be evaluated, will be substituted to go know how many marks will get. So according to 2021 statistics, 3,82,476 is the median salary offered to students. In college category, it might be very less, maybe around 2.5. The next parameter is outreach and inclusivity. It is again for 100 marks. Weightage is 10%. The 100 marks outreach and inclusivity is further divided to 30 marks for region diversity, 30 marks for women diversity, 20 marks for economically and socially challenged students, 20 marks for facilities for physically challenged students. Total 100 marks. Now let us see how do we calculate these. So first one is called RD, stands for region diversity. Is region diversity is for 30 marks, out of which 25 marks for diversity. How many 25 marks for students joining from other states, 5 marks for students joining from other countries. So the formula is 25 multiplied by the fraction of total students enrolled from other states, means how many students from other states divided by total number of students, will give you fraction of students from other states, plus 5 multiplied by fraction of students enrolled from other countries. How many students from other countries divided by total number of students will give you the fraction. Those fractions have to be substituted here. So 25 for other states, 5 marks for other nationalities. Imagine a situation, an institute X managed to have 1/25 from outside states, means one student in every 25 students from other state, one student from every 100 students from other country. They will manage to have only 1 mark. If there is an institute Y with more inferior fractions, they will end up with less marks. So this is how region diversity is calculated. The next one is called women diversity. WD stands for women diversity, is also for 30 marks. The 30 marks women diversity is divided into 15 marks for women students, girl students, 15 marks for women faculty. 15 multiplied by NWS by 50 means what is NWS? Percentage of women students. So how do we get 1 here? If women students are 50%, 50 by 50 is 1, we'll get full marks. Here, how to get 1 here? If the numerator is 20, we'll get, means women faculty to be 20%. If there are 50% women students, girl students, and 20% women faculty, we will score 30 out of 30 here. See, if girl students are 50%, sorry, women faculty are 20%, we'll get 30. For example, there is a college with 25% girl students, 15% women faculty, substitute, we'll lose some marks. The next one is called ESCS for 20 marks. This is again a relative metric, 20 multiplied by function of NESC. What is NESC? Is a percentage of undergraduate students being provided full fee reimbursement by the institution. NIRF asks information about how many students under SC, ST, OBC, EBC, minority, etc. How many of them are receiving scholarships from government and non-government agencies? How many of them are getting scholarships from private bodies? How many of them are getting scholarships exclusively from the institution? That is called NESC. What is the percentage of students in undergraduate programs receiving full fee reimbursement by the institution matters here. How many students, for example, there are 5 students given full fee reimbursement under some scholarship scheme by the institution. Then those numbers will be compared with other institutions. A function will be evaluated and multiplied. The next one is facilities for physically challenged students, 20 marks. NIRF will ask you these 3 questions. Does your institution buildings have lifts or ramps? Institution have walking aids like wheelchairs, etc. Institution having specially challenged toilets for handicapped students. If your answer is yes, yes, yes for all these 3 questions, we will straight away get 20 marks here. The last parameter is perception. This is also for 100 marks actually. Perception is for 100 marks. Its weightage is only 10%. Weight is 0.1. So how does NIRF evaluates 100 marks in perception for every institution? By conducting a survey. The survey are of two categories. One is called employer survey. The next one is called academic peer survey. NIRF collects information about the companies which comes for placements to our institutions to recruit our students. The database will be shared to NIRF. NIRF sends a questionnaire to all the employers to inquire about how does the students coming out of the portals of the institutions are doing in their professional life. If the employers gives great reply, certainly will get 4 marks. In the similar way, academic peers only. For example, there might be some institutes of national importance in the close proximity of the institution. For example, my college belongs to state of Telangana. There are 2 institutes of national importance like IIT Hyderabad and NIT Warangal. The directors of those institutions will get an inquiry, that is called a survey form, to inquire about the performance of the institutions. So the 100 marks of this perception goes by only survey. Who gets survey, who replies or doesn't reply for survey, we don't know. We don't have any hint about this perception. NIRF collects the survey information and awards some marks to perception. The out of 100, how many marks we get will be multiplied by 0.1 and substituted. So this is to be done through a survey conducted over a large category of employers, professionals from reputed organizations, and a large category of academicians to ascertain their preference for graduates of different institutions. From last before year, even the NAC accreditation score was also considered as an extended parameter under perception. So as long as institutions have best NAC accreditation score, we'll take some advantage in perception. So that is all about 5 parameters and a component level metrics in each of them. So how do NIRF collects information? NIRF collects information from institutions through a format called as a data capture format. So the DCF collects information about various parameters for last 3 academic years. How many seats, how many approved, how many sanctioned, how many have been enrolled, what is the total student strength, what is placement and higher studies, how much financial resources like under capital expenditure, operational expenditure is spent, research projects, consultancy projects, patents, and faculty details. Another important point here is NIRF will never ask information about publications of the institution. NIRF collects information directly from Scopus and Web of Science about the number of publications and their quality from these third-party databases like Scopus and Web of Science. They will conclude. So NIRF will not ask how many publications, what are the names of the publications, etc. Will never be asked by NIRF from the institution. That is we have to remember. Let us try to recall the important parameters and component level metrics which have a gross impact in NIRF. So in teaching learning resources, the first parameter, 100 marks. The parameters of gross impact are enrollment ratio. How many streets, how many joined? Faculty student ratio. How many faculty with PhD? What is the experience? Capital expenditure calculation. In research and professional practice, how many papers have been published by the institution? What is their quality? Means how many citations have been attracted by these publications? Graduate outcomes, number of students placed in higher studies, pass percentage, median salary. In OI, how many girl students, how many women faculty, how many students from outside states and country, how many institution scholarships have been given away, whether institution is Divyangjan friendly or not. In perception, how well the employers and academic peers are replying about our institution. That's all for today's presentation. The floor is open for question and answers. Thank you very much for the great opportunity. Let's take some question and answers here in this. Still, if any faculty, any friends joined here for my meeting, having any further questions, can reach me at this number and at this email ID.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very informative. Thank you for explaining and clarifying the assessment process for NIRF ranking. I would actually request Nidhi ma'am to felicitate some questions if we have in the chat box, or anybody has just messaged on the group. Over to you, Nidhi ma'am.
I'll be very happy to take some questions from participants.
Thank you, Trisha. Dear colleagues, the forum is open for question and answers. If you have any questions.
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Madhuri Vaidya.
Please.
It was an excellent session.
Thank you.
Rather, there are hardly any doubts, and probably this is the state right now that there are no questions, because it was extremely a very clear picture that you gave us about what is NIRF and how it differs from NAC accreditation. Sir, just one query with myself, and that is, you are talking about metrics everywhere. By using certain formulae, we have to put our figures and get the percentage, and which obviously gets evaluated.
Yes.
You also said in the end that there will not be any sort of evidence which will be asked by the NIRF as far as certain documents are concerned, although we need to keep them with us. Sir, in case of teacher-student ratio, in certain faculty, if at all the ratio is little inappropriate, what can be done? I mean, is there any scope to justify?
What is the current FSR?
Sorry? Say, for example, in one of the faculties, we do have.
No, doesn't matter. All together, the whole college, institution put together, what is the current FSR of your college? Any idea?
It's about
No,
2,500 divided by 62.
So it
If
is
I'm not
more than
mistaken.
one.
Hello.
Oh, 1:40. You lose full marks, madam.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we realize
Very bad
that.
FSR.
We realize
Yeah.
that, but what do we do?
Is it a madam? Is PN Doshi? Bindu madam is there?
Sorry?
Bindu
Bindu madam is
madam,
there?
she was there for some time. I don't know now if she's there.
Okay, it's
Because
okay.
in certain faculties, sir, we have the strength in each class more than 100.
Madhuri, but we have to give the total of the college.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are submitting. They are asking number of students and number of full faculty.
Yes.
Full-time faculty. So we are just giving. We can't give commerce so many, arts so many.
True. But altogether,
Do you
because
have
in
any
such
faculty?
classes, the percentage, our teacher-student ratio is getting slightly,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
not affected, but it is inappropriate. So what can be done, sir?
Madam, here only teachers with a permanent faculty will be taken into consideration. For example, is there any visiting faculty who teaches 30 hours at least in a semester? Okay. And who teaches at least 2 semesters in a who teaches 2 consecutive semesters can also be claimed. Is there any visiting faculty facility in your college?
Yes, we have that.
Include them. Please include them.
Fine.
Okay.
Madam, 1:20 is the desired faculty student ratio for college category. If you
Yeah.
take engineering colleges, 1:15 is the desired ratio. We suffer much about it. But of course, we are having 1:15. But 1:40 is slightly a demotivating ratio only.
Yeah. So,
Madam,
sir,
is it
kindly
a
suggest
private college?
some
Is
majors.
Doshi
What
private
can be
college or
done?
No,
a
it's a
aided
government
college?
funded. It's an aided college.
Oh,
And
then
so we get our teachers approved from the government, university and the government. So there's no scope of, changing it.
is there any faculty on contractual basis?
Yes, we have.
Include them also. Don't worry.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Please include them. No, we have to make sure they teach 30 hours at least in a semester for 2 consecutive semesters.
Okay, we'll do that.
Sure.
Please,
Till
please.
now, those aided teachers and unaided full-time teachers, we used to calculate. We used to put them in that group, but then also it is insufficient.
So we have to take care of these logic also.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifications.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madhuri ma'am.
Good afternoon. Sorry, Nidhi, I'm just interrupting.
No, okay.
Should
Okay,
I?
ma'am, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, myself, K.K. Deshpande. My question is related to research input. You said the NIRF directly collects the data from Scopus and other indexing agencies. Does that mean we are not supposed to enter some data here? Because I see there is no provision to enter research output of the college. Right now also I checked in college category, there is no provision to enter this data.
That's what I'm telling you. NIRF will never ask you how many publications and what is the quality, but they will ask you projects. Oh, you don't have projects. No. In research and professional practice, there is no provision. You need not enter any data.
And sir, what about like for 2021-22, one of our faculty members have patents on his name.
No marks for patents in college category.
Oh, okay.
No patents.
And under overall also there is no provision to enter research output like for college, I guess. I mean, we are not supposed to, sign up under overall categories, I suppose.
No. Do you have any multiple disciplines at your institution?
Okay, we have a graduation in BA, BCom, BSc. Then we have management courses like BMS. We have BA, MM. We have BSc in home science. So everything, if we take together, do we fall under college category or overall category?
No, only in college category.
In college category, right? Yeah. So in college category.
But last year they have introduced one category called as research category.
Yeah, but the minimum number of paper publications expected by them is too much for colleges. Last year we checked that also. Minimum 400 or something is the minimum required.
I can ask you, shall I ask you one question?
Yeah, sure, sir.
What is the total publication count of P.N. Doshi in the year 2021?
I don't know, not more than 50.
If UGC journals are included, about 18 or 20, not more than that.
Yeah, not more than, even if we include students' paper presentation, not more than 50, I guess. Isn't it, Asha ma'am?
I said, yeah, between 15 and 20, not more than that.
Not more than that.
At least, are these 15, 20 falls in Scopus Web of Science?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
One or two might fall in Scopus category.
Majority of them are in the UGC listed journals.
Yeah.
But I think NRF should consider that when NAC is saying that UGC journals, NRF also should be giving some points there. Otherwise,
it is other way around. All Scopus publications are UGC care list, because in UGC care list we have category 1, category 2. Category 1 is UGC care. In all Scopus publications comes in UGC care 2 actually. But we have to encourage teachers to publish in good and reputed journals which are indexed in Scopus, madam. Otherwise we cannot score. See, if you want to be in the race, all teachers, students has to run for an extra mile. So from management side, like we have to take certain policy decisions that every teacher has to publish at least one publication in Scopus category and one in a year. See, you have 62 teachers. If every one of them publishes one, you'll get 62 publications. So if you if you reward them, award them, if they publish in Scopus and Web of Science, certainly teachers will come forward and publish. At our institution, well, we have taken a lot of from past 4 years, lot of initiatives for what do you say, for pushing people to publish. Actually, we have a requirement. Every professor has to publish 4 publications, 4 papers in Scopus in a year. That is mandatory for us actually. We have 300 faculty. Altogether, we will publish around 2,000 to 2,500 in a year actually.
Sir, in engineering colleges, it is possible, but for at the undergraduate level, in commerce and arts and home science and other faculties, it is a little difficult.
I agree, madam. But is it difficult to publish one in a year?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Please. See, your average is only 15 as of now. What I want to say is, first step, make sure those 15 also in Scopus. In this year, you do that.
Yeah.
Next year, in 2023, make every faculty has to publish at least 1 paper indexed in Scopus or Web of Science. Slowly, we have to see. See, I cannot ask your principal to set a target. Every faculty has to publish 4, either publish or perish. That's not possible. Over a period, overnight, we cannot do all those things actually. See what we did in the last year. So most of the conference proceedings also being indexed in Scopus, in engineering especially. So what we thought, to encourage faculty, we have given a choice for each faculty to utilize 10,000 rupees in a year towards conference fees, provided if the conference proceedings are indexed in Scopus. So we have 300 faculty. Every one of us used 10,000. So it has come around 30 lakhs cost to the company. But of course, we got hundreds of papers. See, we cannot ask teachers to publish by paying registration fees from their pockets. So managements also, but we are a private management, we got a facility. Even in engineering category, we have marks for patents. So before year, we have come up with an initiative that if any faculty is publishing a patent, maybe Indian patent or an international patent, 75,000 rupees will be given towards attorney fee. And 10,000 rupees will be given to the lead inventor. And once a patent gets commercialized, 70% of the revenue generated out of the patent will be given to the teacher. 30% of the revenue will be given to the college. So we have made a lot of policies on publications, on patents, on research projects, on consultancy projects. Not to boast, last year our consultancy and research projects were 4 crores. So what I am telling, see, we have to start slowly. So first we have to understand how do we furnish clean data. We should not lose. So previously one teacher is to be asking if the FSR is 1:40, we are losing marks. How do we improve? So we have to first improve all those metrics which can be improved by submitting some decent data. That we have to do this year because February 11th is the last date. Next year we have to have some small targets. So first we want to figure out in the rankings. Then we will see how do we make ourselves better. So what are the areas of improvement? We have to identify the gray areas. So as one of the teacher told now, that the number of publications are less. So if it is a gray area, how do we improve? How to improve? For example, the target for the institution is, for example, 60 publication in a year. How do we do that? So a clear roadmap. So we have to slowly understand the metrics and one by one we have to do. For example, if one student is given full fee reimbursement by the institution, they will get some marks. How do we do that? How do we inculcate such a behavior? So we have to understand the areas where we are very good, the areas where we are weak, that is called gray areas. We have to work. May I know what is the placement percentage at your institution?
That's also not up to the mark, sir.
Yeah, for some programs we have very good percentage.
Yes.
But as Madhuri madam explained, for some faculties we don't
For
have.
arts, commerce, and home science, it's very low. Whereas for BCA, BAMS, and BAMM and BMS, and the other faculty, it's good.
What is the final year student strength, madam?
Final year would be about 800, not more than that.
800. How many of them will pass? 80% is the pass percentage will have?
More than that. Pass percentage is more than that.
No, the problem is if you push, for example, 800 is the final year student strength. If 700 pass, we will get full marks in university examination, that 40 marks. But we have to show all those 700 must be either placed or went for higher studies.
Sir, the basic problem is ours being a women's college. I know what happens is many of them do go for higher studies, and many of them go for the jobs also. But there are quite few who are left out, who don't do anything. So that's also a gray
But
area
don't
for
claim
us.
more than 80% in pass percentage, madam. The 640 is the desired pass. 640, 800 students, na. 640 is the 80% of pass percentage. If you put 70, 700, 60 more people you have to show either placed or went for. So we have to play with those figures now.
Well, how do we do that?
Can be done. Why not?
Okay.
But you have to see what is your last year data, etc. For example, last year you say out of 700 passed out graduates, 100 are placed. This year, if you say 500 are placed, they will ask you, they will send one prescribed format where they will ask what is the name, what is the roll number, what is the company, what is the package, etc. Proofs.
But now also we have to do that. When we are saying placement, we need to give them the mean placement plus the list of the students where they are placed and things like that.
No, we have to get it ready and keep with us. NIRF never asked. Na? We have to claim only figures.
Now also, the last time they asked us.
Say if they get doubt, they'll ask actually. Madam, at the time of application, they will not ask all those details. Na? They will ask how many are placed, how many are went for higher studies.
Okay.
They ask for, I guess, mean percentage and mean salaries and everything also, and we need to enter, I think.
Yes, we have to enter mean salary and that.
Yes.
Sir, one more question. There is no, again, this is regarding outreach activities. Our college is very good at NSS activities, NCC's outreach activities, but again, there is no scope to present this data.
No, in college category, there is no. In overall, we have. That too, if you have only Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, only you will get marks. NSS doesn't have any marks. Does your college is coming under Unnat Bharat Abhiyan scheme?
We have applied for it.
Yes,
we are waiting for the final letter from them. Maybe we'll get it now.
Once you are into UBA, member institution for UBA, you may get some marks. NSS, you keep doing good things. Need not worry.
Okay.
Any more questions? I'll be very happy to take up.
Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Shaili Gala from Accountancy Department. Just 10 minutes before you said conference proceeding. Is it a conference proceeding published in a careless journal? Is it valid for this marks for 40 marks, or if it has even impact factor? Is it valid for CAS also?
Impact factor does not matter, madam. Only how many number of citations it attracts over a period of 3 years matters. See, if it is in UGC care list, it is of no use. It has to be in Scopus.
What we recently were told, one of the NEC committee the CAS committee member told us that because it is conference proceeding, though it is care listed journal, it is not counted. It will be counted only under the conference proceeding. So is it like that? If even
No,
if
madam.
it is no,
Madam,
no,
there
it
is
counted.
There is a global database called Publons. Have you ever heard about Publons?
No, sir. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. There is one global database which consisting of publication information of overall India, that Publons. They will collect information directly from Publons. And before freezing our marks, NIRF will send a screenshot to our portal. In last 3 years, these many publications appeared under Scopus, and these are the citation count. These many publications have been appeared in Web of Science, and this is your citation count. Every year they will send an email. I hope your principal or your nodal officer may know that. Who is looking after this application, madam? Principal, madam?
Yeah, but the IQAC and the librarian takes care of it.
Yes. So NIRF every year sends a screenshot, like a screen to our login, where they will publish. PN Doshi is having these many publications in Scopus, number of publications, and this is a citation count. These many publications in Web of Science, this is the citation count. Do you agree or disagree? If you disagree, they will ask you why you have to disagree. So we have to publish, submit the data. Got my point? So in that way, Scopus and Web of Science only will be taken into consideration. Here, it may be a conference proceeding, or it may be a journal proceeding, or it may be a Book chapter does not matter as long as that article is indexed in Scopus or Web of Science. They are equally good. Scopus
And
or
what
Web of
about
Science.
care list journal, sir? Then if it is listed, if it has a UGC care list number, then even it is equally valid for cash and every other thing.
At our institution, we have taken Scopus as a standard, madam, not UGC care, because we have taken that initiative to push people to publish to get good NIRF rank actually. So since NIRF is taking Scopus and Web of Science into consideration, only we are giving money to those who publish in Scopus. That too, after indexing only they can come and claim actually. See, usually journals takes much time to index in Scopus. Conference proceedings can be quickly indexed because there are publication windows, etc. You might have known this. Some conference organizations which conducting conferences take a publication window. So they will publish all those papers in that window. So all of those papers will be quickly within 1 month, 45 days will appear in Scopus list actually. So we have to, since most of the teachers are from arts, science, home science, etc., need to explore the conferences, multidisciplinary conferences where the conference proceedings are indexed in Scopus. So getting Scopus indexed publications through conference is much easier than publishing in general actually. Journal is difficult.
Sir, so the people from the literature background, when they publish their own storybook or a poem book or whatever it is, so it is not counted.
Madam, I told you no, we left with no option. If you publish in a journal, the journal is fortunately indexed in Scopus, it will be counted. Because NIRF has to take a decision on the in the interest of all institutions across country. See, arts and science college teachers are publishing mostly in UGC care list journal. I know, but since unfortunately UGC care list is not being taken care of, your principal may write to NIRF, since there are no journals indexed in Scopus for teachers of arts and commerce, we could not be able to publish articles in Scopus index journals. Hence, why don't you consider UGC care, etc.
I'll do that.
Hundreds of mails are going, madam. From last 5 years, I wrote 1,000 emails to NIRF about various parameters and the disadvantage of those parameters, etc. See, your college is a women's college, you told. It's a women's college. Take advantage in women's diversity. You will get full marks because all are girl students. I cannot take advantage over. Na? See, one madam is asking, if UGC care is not taken into consideration, we will lose some marks. But in women's category, you will get full marks. Now you got edge there. We will get edge over other parameters.
Okay.
Sir, only Scopus is considered or other indexing?
Web of Science is considered.
Web of Science and others also.
Yes.
There must be something for social sciences and languages, whether that is also considered under NIRF or only Scopus and Web of Science.
Only Scopus
As
and Web of
Manju
Science.
madam was telling, as Manju madam was saying, there must be some indexing services available in languages and social science, right? So are they also considered or only these two?
No, madam, only these two be considered. Scopus and Web of Science. That's a problem. Really, it's a challenge. I know.
Yeah, because as a college research, apart from research activities, there are 100 other things and where the college is excelling really. So only giving weightages to Scopus journals and not giving weightages to other things which college is doing and presenting them or showcasing them for NIRF is really a challenge. Or rather than challenge, there is no scope to present this data.
I'll tell you one thing, madam. We need not worry because this is not the only situation with PN Doshi. It is the situation with every other arts and science college. So everybody is defeated. Got my point?
Right.
So at least what we want to say, see, if there are 1,100 colleges participating and first 100 colleges could be able to publish 15 something I have presented, 6,000 publications in Scopus. Means there is a scope. Yes or no, madam? I have presented the statistics.
Right.
15,000 publications have been published in Scopus and Web of Science by colleges category. Of course, there may be some computer application colleges, science colleges. They would have taken lead. I don't mind. What I'm telling, if you have a will, there is a way. We have to find out how to publish. If you start publishing in one Scopus category, then automatically we will be like other teachers also will follow the same. Frankly speaking, if you ask me a question, which journals indexed in Scopus for arts and commerce, I am helpless. If you ask me which engineering journals are available in Scopus, I can tell you 100,000.
Right.
Because I'm not from, frankly speaking, from that category. I have made this presentation tailorly made for your college. Usually, I'll take up NIRF sensitization for engineering colleges. Bindu madam like asked me to prepare a comprehensive presentation for colleges category. I have made this actually. But it is a challenge only because the journals available in Scopus. But what I'm telling you, madam, I'll tell you one thing: who is looking after research activities at your institution may be given a small task of listing out the journals indexed in Scopus for arts, science, commerce, home science, etc.
We will do that.
At least if you know the names of the journals, if you start sending articles, maybe in 4 or 5 months, one of the good article may be published. Then we will find a way out actually.
Right. Sure, sir. We will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, please.
Do we have any more questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you for your responses to all our inquiries, sir. We truly appreciate the information you've shared with us today on the various parameters that all educational institutions are assessed for in order to be ranked and achieve excellence. Thank you once again. Over to you, Trisha.
Thank you so much, Nidhi ma'am. I would now request Dr. Manju Chheda ma'am to please extend vote of thanks to our guest.
Thank you, Trisha. Good afternoon to today's speaker, Dr. Gopalakrishna and Dr. Bindu Madam Vijay Kumar, our Director Madam Dr. S. Kumudavali, our Principal Madam Dr. Asha Menon, and all teachers participants. It is my proud privilege today to propose vote of thanks on the occasion of this extremely enriching and enlightening session on NIRF sensitization program. The knowledge shared by today's eminent speaker, Dr. Gopal Krishna, has definitely enhanced our knowledge and understanding on NIRF. All the parameters were explained in details and we have deep understanding on NIRF. On behalf of our institution, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Gopal Krishna on NIRF sensitization. I thank Dr. Bindu Madam for helping us in organizing today's talk. I would mention deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to our honorable trustees for their support for our planned programs. I express my thanks to our Director Madam, Dr. S. Kumudavali, for guiding us whenever it is required. I extend my thanks to our Principal Madam, Dr. Asha Menon, who has been perfect mentor at every step of planning all our programs. I appreciate and thank especially to the IQAC team and the coordinator, Mr. Raju Chauhan, and all the team members for their efforts to make the program grand success. I thank vice principals and coordinators of all faculties for their support. I convey my special thanks to Ms. Hashmat Khan and her team, technical team, for making all required arrangement. Special thanks to Ms. Trisha Pujara for gracefully anchoring the entire event. Special thanks to Nidhi Dattani for managing question answer sessions very effectively, and Mrs. Swati Suchak for introducing our dignified speaker. And special thanks to all the teachers participants for their valuable presence and actively engagements during the session. Once again, thank you all. Over to Trisha.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
We end the session here.